What's up, everybody? We'll just give a couple minutes so everybody can start to funnel in. Hope everyone had a wonderful day.
Hawk, you listen to the bangers over there?
Yeah, man, just setting the mood, a little aftermarket music. How are you doing, man?
Man, I am good. Ready to get it going.
Yeah. Well, give it about another minute so some people can jump in. If people aren't able to make it, we will have this recorded, and Bentley, you can put it up onto your YouTube.
Okay, awesome.
So, have you started trading yet, or are you still just full time educating at this point in time?
The account is funded and I get it going tomorrow. So I'm excited about
Oh
that.
man, kick it off in TRADERVERSE Discord live.
Yeah.
It's going to be really exciting.
No better way to do it.
Love it, man. Well, we'll kick this off, and I wanted to welcome everyone to TRADERVERSE live Q&A session with our ambassador Ryan Bentley, or better known as Bentley Trading 7. Today is January 12th, 2022, and I'm your host. Excuse me, I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener. My name is Michael Herman, or at Hawk Holdings, and I am the co-founder of TRADERVERSE. For those who are not familiar with Traderverse, what we are is a social platform that's built on two foundational technologies. The first is artificial intelligence, and the second is blockchain. What we aim to do is promote honesty and transparency in the stock and crypto markets. And we're excited to be fully released in a short few months. So, first off, I wanted to start with a brief background of Bentley, someone that I was introduced to in late November of 2021 last year. It seems like we've been chatting a little bit longer than that, Bentley, but he was referred to by a friend that many of you may know, Yates. So Yates messaged me and said something like, "Bro, you gotta check out this dude named Bentley. He's rather unheard of, but man, I'm telling you, we have to put this dude on the map." And he was just going on and on about your strategy and the fact that you're just teaching right now and not trading. It was everything that Traderverse stands for. So I'm glad that I was introduced to you because personally, you've changed my strategy in the way that I'm trading these day scalps as well. So, over the past couple months, I guess Bentley and I have, or I consider him now a friend as we chat on a regular basis, and I've witnessed his scalping strategy being very, very consistent on a regular basis, on a daily basis, really. And, it's amazing to me because he's only mainly trading pre-market and maybe up to 3 trades per day. And, he provides live education, like I had mentioned, in Traderverse Discord for free every Thursday. So tomorrow he'll be live in our Discord where I hope to see all of you that are in here today. And so he'll be with us tomorrow morning. But I wanted to bring Bentley on with a Q&A session to, first of all, introduce to all of you, if you don't already know who he is, and maybe give a little bit of insight onto his trading journey and take some questions from you if you guys have any questions posed. I actually pinned on the top here. If you have any questions, feel free to write it in that thread and we'll try to get to all of you. So, um, Ryan, how was your day, man? You do all right today?
It was good. Actually today the start was actually the first bad trading day we've had since we started the Discord. First trade I alerted, it ran 70 cents, so that was good. And then the next two, the technical analysis was there, false breakout on the first one, and the second one, I alerted a level, it immediately halted, like I think 12 cents over the level I alerted, opened up down. So I was pretty pissed because that doesn't happen, which I know as a trader, red days are going to happen. But we came back this afternoon and they brought everyone back green, so we closed it good.
That's what matters, man. You closed it green. I did want to hear. I've heard from you personally a little bit about your background and how you got into stock trading. But I think for me it was a super powerful story, and it really empowered me and really gave me a lot of motivation. So do you mind talking a little bit about your background and how you initially got into trading?
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of people have watched the YouTube video I posted, but I grew up in a very poor background. My parents were drug addicts, and I kind of went through that every day from a very young age. I always told people, I'd be a millionaire by the time I was 30, and no one believed it. and I worked in factories up until COVID hit. Actually, my last job I was making $500 a week, and I got laid off because of COVID. So I dove in head first. The girl I'm dating now actually was the motivation behind it. I told her I wanted to do this, and she backed me. She's the first person ever believed in me doing this. So I dove head first, and it's been a very long year. In the learning process, I probably averaged 2 hours of sleep per night trying to learn this, and I'm here today. So I'm thankful for the things that I went through. If it came easy, I wouldn't be here because I probably would have done something stupid to ruin it. So it was a struggle and a process, but I'm here today, and that's kind of the gist of how I got started trading.
I love it, man. And it really sometimes it only takes one person to have confidence in you to give yourself that confidence too. And it sounds like, you had that support system with your girlfriend to keep you pushing. I'm sure that you had, some failures along the way before you got your feet under. Talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit on what it took to you, time it took in order for you to, feel confident.
Yes, absolutely. I blew my account up 20 plus times. Literally, I was, doing side jobs and crazy stuff just to get money to throw back into the market because I was so determined to learn. Um, but I did blow my account up, like I said, 20 plus times. And, finally one day it clicked. I realized what I'm doing wrong. Um, and all I was doing wrong is every morning I would come into the market and, the first 2 to 3 trades I would make per day, I would have, a $500 to $1,000 account, and I would be up $100 or $200 on that small account every single day. But I would sit in front of the computer all day and I would keep trading. And what I would do is I would take that massive green percentage and I would end up red. And then when I'd get red, I'd chase it and try to get back green, if I can just get back green. And I would blow my account up over and over and over.
So were you kind of swing trading and just didn't really have a method locked in when you were first starting?
Yeah, before I figured out about the offshore brokers where you can day trade unlimited, what I would do is I had E Trade. Actually, that was the brokerage I used, and what I would do is I would day trade my 3 day trades per week, and then Monday through Thursday I would swing trade something into the next morning, and that's kind of how I built up to the point to have $2,500 to send to the offshore brokerage.
So I'm hearing that you had a rather small account. You blew it up several times. Your girlfriend gave you the confidence to keep pushing along, man. And, so you didn't always have a large account, which many of us don't, right? And many think that in order to be successful, you have to have a big bankroll in order to do so. Can you give us some insight on, your Bentley scalping strategy, or what I call it, right? And how you formulated that into being consistent and having consistent wins and compounding your gains.
Yeah. Basically, it goes back to, when I kind of realized what I was doing wrong when I was blowing it up. But what I would do every day is I would watch the best day traders in America, and Ross Cameron being one. And it got to the point kind of where I would watch him daily and I would start correcting, the things I thought he was doing wrong. Granted, he's a great trader. So he's honestly better than I am, but I took what he was doing and made it better for myself. And by doing that, I quickly realized how important compounding is. I'm sure everybody listening to this right now, they've kind of came in and they've had those lucky trades where they get up, but they keep when you see green, you're like, man, I want more. It's like a casino, and they keep trading and trading and trading. And the main thing that I did was I set a list of rules for myself. And what I would do is, okay, if I had two green trades, I would get my notepad with my rules on it, and I would put it in front of the computer screen, or I would close out or walk away. You have to have a set of rules and a plan coming into day trading. If you don't, you're going to overtrade and you're going to lose your account every time.
Yeah, man. And really, in the past 2 months, before that, I struggled myself a little bit with sticking to that plan. And really, I've learned from you is you come each day with a formulated plan, which, since you have this plan, it stayed rather consistent. You stick to that plan with discipline, and then at the end of the day, you review your outcomes. And for me, that was powerful because when I had losses, it was simply what you discussed before. It was, not locking in profits at the then something goes down and maybe you think you average down. So, you know, at one point, I'm sure that you struggled with deviating from that plan, like how are you staying so disciplined and true to the strategy? I mean, what's kept you going with what you're doing?
This is the hardest part, I think, for new traders is doing it long enough to see the results. And I promise you, if you take what I'm doing and you do it for 2 weeks, you will change your life. Simply because if you literally just compound 5% a day, that sounds like so little. Everyone's in it to get rich, but 5% a day is huge in a month scheme. Again, going back to a guy in my Discord, he had $6,500. And I did the math for him because he was doing that over trading and ending the day red when he was green from the start. 5% a day on a $6,500 account in 1 month is $16,000. And you have to do it long enough and you have to stick to it just 2 to 4 weeks, and you'll realize kind of how big that is. And when you're swinging for 5%, you're going to have those days if you have a plan, stick to it, where those 5% days will be 50 to 100% days, depending on the stock that you trade. You have to stick to it long enough and you can't get greedy. Greed is the killer of day traders, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. And one thing that I've noticed is you stick to your plan, your technical aspects of what you do. And if a trade, it starts out green, you'll lock in some profits. And if it fails, below that nine EMA, basically you'll bail. So at that point, you'll still be green and profitable. Am I explaining that correctly? I'm sure
Yes.
you can say it a little bit better than I can, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, what I do is when I enter a trade, the trades that I enter are very volatile, so they tend to gap up right when I enter them. So what I'll do is say I enter a stock at $5, it jumps to 5.25. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell 25% to 50% of my position immediately. And then what happens is if that trade goes red and goes below your entry, you can exit and you're still green. You should never let a green trade go red. That's something that I think a lot of traders struggle with, and that's something that's you can prevent, but a lot of people don't want to do it because they see that money going up and then it drops and they think they're going to get back to that point where they were green. And that's not the case. You have to lock in profits.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I love that for sure. So I actually want to address some of the haters out there, right? You're a rather respectful person. You don't go out boasting your gains on a regular basis,
Yeah.
but a fairy tale that I've heard is that over the past year, you started with, that $500 and turned it into $2 million, right? And
Yes,
many
absolutely.
people don't believe it, right? So I've seen you in your Discord. You actually post your entry exits and have a log or an archive of your trades. So many, not many, but a couple people I've seen talk a little crap. It said this dude's only been trading for a year. Yeah, right. Should I listen to this rookie? I know you don't pay attention to those drinking that Haterade, but what do you have to say to those people that pose
Um,
that type of concern to you?
this one, I'm actually so glad that you asked it because I'm not an arrogant person, but there comes time where arrogance is needed. And my response to the people hating is the best day traders in America, this year started with over six figures and they didn't make $2 million. I started with 500 and made 2 million, and I stopped trading at 8 months in. Imagine what I would have made if I traded for 12 months. I stopped trading at 8 months in to teach, and these people are hating on me because they don't believe it's real. At this point, when I first started, I wanted the Rolex, I wanted the nice car, everything like that. But when you actually make it, you kind of lose track of that, and you don't want those things anymore. When you make it, you have no point to prove. You know what you've accomplished, and you literally don't have to prove it to anyone. The people in my Discord see it every day. They're banking every single day. They're learning to do this on their own. So the people I've taught are the only explanation that I need for that.
Yeah, man, I love that. And you see on FinTwit people posting a YOLO lotto that went 5,000% or whatever, right? But you're happy with your 5 to 10% a day on three, maybe three trades. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that 5% will absolutely destroy everyone that's posting those 1,000% runners at the end of the year. Actually, starting tomorrow and going back to the people talking shit. I was originally going to start with $2,500 just to start over, and I'm live trading where everyone can watch my trades. But they pissed me off enough to I'm doing it with 1,000. I'm taking 1,000 to $1 million, and it's all going to be live traded. I'm going to have the trade sheets. I'm going to have the trade reports from my brokerage. I'm going to post weekly. So anyone that doubts me, there's going to be proof behind what I'm doing.
Man, I love that. The confidence, man, it's something that a lot of traders really lack, and it's an important piece to all this. You can have your TA locked in, right? You can have as much due diligence as you want locked in, but people get sometimes gun shy about jumping into that trade. At what point in your trading career, over the last year, I guess it was, did you actually have that confidence where you're like, all right, man, I'm locked in. I can size up on my share amount, when you had that capital built in your bank account? Like what point did you build that confidence where you could
Um,
you felt super, super strong about what you were doing?
um, it goes back to, the Ross Cameron thing. I got to where I was correcting him as far as technical analysis goes. But one thing about that is, after losing so much, you kind of lose emotion because you're like, okay, if I lose, I'm going to do it again. And this is one thing I say all of the time. And I said it on the podcast last week. I treat trading like it's a video game. And what I mean by that is, if you're playing a video game and you're playing a level and you fail, what do? You restart that level. You know what you did wrong, and you go in and you approach it from a different standpoint. Every time you lose, you learn what you're doing. And by treating trading as a video game, there's no emotions attached. If I lose on this trade, fuck it. I'm gonna approach the next key level, and I'm gonna enter it. I'm gonna keep doing that because eventually I'm gonna get it right, and I'm gonna beat that level. So
So
that's
yeah, one of the things that I was attracted to your style for, your trading style. Let me make that very clear here, Bentley. Was the simplicity of it. Really, you have pretty much three indicators on your chart, right? I've seen traders that have been really successful, maybe not as consistent, but they've got a million different indicators on art, which may work for them, right? How did you find this simplistic way of trading and figured out that this is all I need?
it was trial and error. I tried everything, and that's going through the 20 times blowing the accounts up. I wish I knew the exact number because I guarantee you it's more than that. But trial and error. Every time I would open up an account again and I would blow it up, I would be like, okay, I don't need this. I don't need this, and I've tried everything. One of the big things I think a lot of people use is the RSI. Um, and that's good for swing traders. There's still a lot of day traders that use that, but in all honesty, all you need is technical analysis. And I went through all of the EMAs, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 20 to see what works best. And with my strategy, the 9 EMA worked best. So it was trial and error and kind of figuring that out. And what I've done is, I struggled doing this, and I was almost homeless at one point going through this, trying to learn this. But I learned it, and I made it simple for myself. And that's what I kind of pride myself in is I've taken the hardest form of trading and I've made it very simple for all of the retail traders. In my Discord, there's people that actually, I think mostly every member in my Discord that's been there for a while were swing traders. And they kind of realized what I was doing and how simple it was. And now they don't swing trade anymore. So it all comes down to trial and error. You have to find out what works best for you. Just because I'm taking a $1,000 account to $1 million does not mean that anyone else can. You have to find what I'm doing and you have to make it your own and figure out what works best for you. We're two different people and with two different emotions.
Yeah, man, that's really good. You're really big on the 9 EMA, right? So how did you come up with riding the nine? How is the nine, different from the eight or whatever other traders may use? How did you find out that that was, something that really was a part of your winning recipe?
My chart was loaded down with EMAs. Like I said, I had the one, through the 20 sitting there. And what I began to notice, there's other guys that are using the 8 EMA. But with my strategy, using the 9 EMA, that's going to keep you in that trade a little bit longer. It may be 5 cents, but when you're in a position, $100,000, 5 cents is going to make a big difference. And what I noticed is that 9 EMA, as it gradually rises, you peak out with that. So you get more out of the trade with that nine versus the other EMAs.
So I want to switch gear a little bit. Last week, I think it was last week, you came up with this new concept that your Discord is love, man, and I love it. And I think last Friday you mentioned was your most fun day, that you've ever had trading, right? And
Absolutely.
you came up with this thing, this concept, which is great, man. And people are all fired up. How we do in your Discord is fired up too. Shotgun in the halt. Tell me about Shotgun in the halt, man, and how you came up with this and what it is.
Absolutely. Well, to start, I love beer. That's no, there's no question about that. Everyone that follows me knows that. But when we trade, it's a very tense situation. So we're doing this and we're all tense. Like there's emotions and everything. You know, we're all sweating because we're in trades. So my goal with this is to kind of ease that tension, shotgunning the halt. I trade momentum, so there's a lot of halt plays that I call. So what I do is every time we call a halt play, I'll shotgun a beer for everyone. And on Fridays now, what my Discord members are doing is they're coming in and they're doing it with me. I think last week
Man, that's amazing.
we did Patron last week, me and Howie. So this Friday, I think there's actually a lot of people taking off of work to do this with us, and I'm
That'd be a
excited
little
about
tough to be at your work desk and like shoot
it.
like
Yeah,
CL Smooth under your desk and just throw your key in
absolutely.
it real quick and throw it back. But it was happening so often. You mentioned that you actually had to limit it to Fridays because you didn't
Yes,
want to be hungover on Monday to
yeah.
Thursday as well,
It
right?
was it was getting to the point where I was calling, 3 to 5 halt plays per day, and for my liver's sake, I had to limit it to one day, and then we're making it a group thing now, not just me. So if I suffer on Saturday, we're all suffering as a team. But we banked on Friday though, so that's all that matters.
I love it, man. And I think when you first started, you'd mentioned you were really just putting in hours after hours, up to 20 hours a day studying. You were mostly trading by yourself, is that correct?
Absolutely, like 100%. That I got very bored with it, trading by myself because I live in Tupelo, Mississippi. The only thing that's here is Elvis. Elvis was born here, so my goal is Tupelo,
What's wrong with
Mississippi.
Elvis, man?
No, nothing. But my goal is when I say where I'm from, people are like, "Oh, never heard of it." And I say it's where Elvis was born. So my goal is to be like, okay, Elvis and Bentley Trading was born there. But we're getting there one day at a time. But
So, you were trading by yourself and now you're, quickly growing your Discord, right? People are catching on to what you're doing and being successful and success stories within members of your Discord, right? So
mhm.
you mentioned this concept of emotionless trading. Has that added any extra pro to you, being on the live screen and has that changed the way that, you trade?
No, absolutely not. It's actually made me better. And the reason being is, when I was trading by myself, I would watch the screen and there would be emotions attached. I didn't have anyone to talk to. So I was just sitting there in silence while trading. But now when I do it, I'm actually talking myself through the play. What I'm doing when I'm trading is, I'm not necessarily talking to the Discord members. They ask questions, I answer. But what I'm doing when I'm trading is I'm simply saying what I'm doing. And that makes me more alert as far as trading goes. So if I have a key level of $5 and I enter and it goes up to 525, I'm like, okay, scale some here. I'm literally talking to myself. I'm not talking to anyone else. So that's basically all it comes down to. Is it's actually made me a better trader, and that's why I'm so pumped up to get back trading tomorrow because I'm so much better than I was last year.
That's amazing. So you haven't actually traded for a couple months, right?
Yeah, I stopped really trading in August. Around my birthday. My birthday is August the 17th. I stopped trading around then. I did trade a little bit in Weeble at the end of November, but as far as day trading and scalping, I haven't since August. I've
So you've
been
just helped the community and put hours upon hours, each morning, almost twice a day live in your Discord to help and educate people. I mean, that's to me, that's amazing. That's a huge sacrifice. And, I wanted to ask you, how does it make you feel when you see members of your Discord catching your calls and banking? I mean, that has to make you feel really good about yourself?
dude, it is literally the best feeling in the world. That's what I'm here for, and uh, I've literally had, $50,000, $100,000 days, and the people in my Discord are like, "Why are you not motivated? Why are you not hyped right now? I'd be so pumped." But then I'll have, one person make $100 in my Discord, and I'll start yelling in a microphone. But that's what I'm here for, man. To see them succeed and to see them, make that $100 and that $1,000. So motivating for me because I know I'm doing something right. And in turn, they're going to turn around once they get to the point I'm at. They're going to help someone else just like I am. It's no longer about me. It's about the entire, like everyone as a whole. Bentley Trading, I don't care if these guys that I've taught leave my Discord and start their own. They're going to do what I'm doing for other people, and that's what I'm here for, and that's what it's all about to me.
That's amazing, man. And that's what, Traderverse is really all about. We host live education sessions. You're, a weekly educator for us. I see Trading Collective here today. He did a fantastic job and, was willing to give up his time to help the community. And that's what we want to do is we want to, shorten that learning curve for traders so that they don't have to go through that market tuition, which can be so, so expensive at times. So, I did want to publicly say to you, I appreciate what you're doing for everybody, and especially for us. It's changed my strategy and it's changed the way I look. But I did want to say thank you, man, because that's a huge sacrifice. Watching hours and hours and hours of charting and tickers and everyone banking, and you're on the sidelines right now. But that's fantastic, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. You guys are giving me a platform to actually teach what I love on. And like I said in the past, I don't care if I ever trade again. To see the people that I am teaching succeed, that's what means the most to me, and that's what I'm here for. And you guys are giving me a platform to do that on, and I'm forever thankful for that opportunity.
Yeah, man. Likewise. So I did want to take this time to take some community questions. The first one isn't on, posted on your thread, which is above, but I know you've got a dog and you've got another one on the way. One of the members asked, what's it going to take, bro, for you to get a doggy door so you don't have to let that dog out, once a day in free market? We're all waiting on you, man. And, hold up real
Uh,
quick. I got to let my dog out. I'll be right back. And it's like
uh,
mic drop, right?
I hear my girlfriend laughing in another room. That's actually a good idea. I'm actually renting the house I'm in. I've got to buy a house and I've got to get a fenced in yard before that because my dog is a psychopath and he will run into the road and get splattered. So I've got to take care of him. But that is actually a very good question, and I love that question.
That a good friend of mine, Shaman, who's also in your Discord. So
Yeah, I
I thought
love
that was hilarious. Slayton asked, now I do want to address this question. He's also a member. What increments did your position size move up? Has it set in that you've learned a skill that will produce you millions forever as long as you keep learning and up to date with the market?
it's crazy to me because I do feel like I've found a money printer. But as far as starting from the beginning and learning like when to scale up in my position size, that was all about account size. Up until the point where, like with this $1,000 account, up until the point where I get to about 10,000, I'm going to put my entire portfolio into these trades, and I can do that simply because I know what I'm doing. If you're a new trader and you do that, you're going to get burned. But I minimize my losses. For instance, the biggest loss of the year I had was $12,000, and it was on a $250,000 trade, and that was the biggest
Wow.
loss I had all year. The second biggest loss I had, I think, was $1,500. And so I'm able to put my full position size into these. And I would have never grown my account from 500 to $2 million if I wasn't going in very, very heavy.
Right, right. And you did talk about the track record that you had. I think it was going into the end of the year, December. You wanted to have, I think, was it 65 green calls, right?
70. Well, I had my goal for November was 50, and I actually hit 50 even. My goal for my goal for I'm sorry, December was 75, and I hit 78, I believe.
And your red was what, under five?
I had 78 green calls and two red calls. So from November to through December, I was at 128 green and two red calls.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't believe it either. That sounds just preposterous, but
Yeah,
I
no one
watched it,
believed.
man. I literally watched it, man, and I was like, this is crazy. And the way
Yeah,
that you do that is because when it fails below your 9 EMA, you're bailing, and you're not taking that loss, and you're locking profit as it rides up on it. So
absolutely.
it,
And
it's flawless, man.
I don't take aggressive entries. A lot of people in my Discord, I'll say, okay, $7 here, and they'll be like, okay, well, 790 is the key level, and I'm like, okay, well, dollar increments are going to be, a form of resistance. Or so if we buy at 790 and I alert at $8 level, there's a good chance it's going to reject there. So the entries I take are safe and they're smart. I don't take aggressive entries, and I do that consistently, and that's kind of what got me to where I am today.
And I do want to point something out. It's not on low volume plays, right? You're a momentum trader. So
Yeah, absolutely.
what's your volume strategy in which you have this limit? If it's under a certain amount of volume or over a certain amount of volume, how do you decide and when you want to
Um,
play that momentum trade?
It all comes down to the spread. What you're going to see on a lot of low volume plays, say it has 250,000 in volume. What you're going to see is there's probably going to be a 20 or 30 cent spread, and what that means is if you enter that stock, you're automatically going to be down 20 or 30 cents per share. The minimum volume I look for is 1 million. When you get to that 1 million mark, depending on the float size, you start to see that spread tighten. And as it's going into those key levels, you'll see it fluctuate, down to that 1 to 2 cent range. So I like to see 1 million minimum in volume.
And on your scan parameters, I know you scan for, top perch gainers,
Mhm.
of the day. Are you also scanning for a certain float size so that it moves a little bit, easily or more easy.
Yeah. Which recently I've only used like the Weeble top scanner because the market's so slow and it's going to pick up everything. But when the market's hot, what I do is I scan for 1 million minimum in volume, and I scan for 1 million to 200 million max on float size. And that keeps me in that low float range. Of course, there's some at 250,000, 300,000, but that's just what I scan for. And I catch all of the low float runners using that.
I love it, man. I honestly can't wait for, to give you a little background look of Traderverse social platform, in which we have everything all in one spot. So you don't have to have 100 different tabs open. I know you're pretty organized on your Weeble platform, but I can't wait to show you, man, what we have coming out in a couple months.
Dude, I am so ready to get rid of Weeble to start using the Traderverse charting. I know I've seen sneak peeks of it, and it blows Weeble out of the water. So I'm so excited for that to launch, so I can start using that as my charting tool.
Yeah, man. Definitely looking forward to your feedback on that. I'm going to take another question here from Stevie G, who I also sees in the chat here. Thanks for joining, Stevie. How do you read into volume and tell the bid and ask if it's turning from bearish to bull or vice versa? Thank you.
What I do with that is that's another thing. Early entries. I call it front loading. I know there's Twitter pumpers that front load way before they tweet about it, but this is completely different. What I do is if I alert, a $5 level again, I'm going to use that as an example, and I see the stock at $5.90, and I see it start moving up towards that $5 level. If I see the volume spiking on that and the price action start flickering, what I do is I take an early entry, say at 4.95, and that prevents me from catching that gap up. If I buy at the $5 break, I may end up getting my order filled at $5.20. So if the volume is increasing very quickly going into a resistance level, it's going to break it.
That makes complete sense to me. Another question from Deep Thought LTD. Thanks for participating. As we compounding our gains, let's say we're at 20K now in our account. I imagine going in with a big position with a limit order would keep the price down, right? So would you scale in little by little watching L2, or go in bigger or full position you're looking to once it breaks that resistance? I think you may have just touched upon that briefly, but can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
The worst thing you can do as a day trader, in my opinion, is to scale into a position. All that tells me is that you're not confident enough in your technical analysis to take your full entry from the start. And basically what I mean by that is, if I want to buy 20,000 shares of something that's breaking $5, I'm going to buy 20,000 shares. I'm not going to buy 5,000 and keep adding on the way up. Because when you find someone that does that versus me, we could take the same trade, same entry and same exit. My gains are going to destroy them because every time they're adding, I'm taking profit off the table. Every time they're adding, they're more into it. So don't ever, if you're a day trader, do not add to a position, in my opinion. If you're a swing trader, by all means, yeah, add to it. But as a day trader, no, don't add. Be confident in your skill and your technical analysis, and take that full entry from the start.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's so key, man, because as you see that moving up, the temptation is to, add more size. And I think you've talked about, Ross Cameron on how he does that. But with your confidence and your technical skills, you're basically taking your full position there, and you're maximizing your gains from that trade. Is that right?
Absolutely. If I'm green on a trade, it will never go red. I don't care if it's 5 cents. That trade will never go red. I will take profits. I will scale half of my position before I go red, and then I'll sell the rest when it goes red. That's just it's, to me, I've been doing it so long, it's a common sense thing. And once you do it and you master it, you're like, well, why the hell was I not doing this before? But that's one thing you'll never catch me doing, and I disagree with that completely, is adding to positions as a scalper.
So, many people are like, how the hell can you get out before this highly volatile trade, is on a downward spiral, right? Especially a low floater. They move up and they knife down just as quickly or even quicker.
Absolutely.
I think, one of the unspoken things that we haven't discussed is, your hotkeys. Can you talk about using your hotkeys and how that is advantageous to your style?
Yeah, I have 3 hotkeys. I have Shift B, and that buys my position. I type out the shares I want in the montage. It fills the position. I have Shift H, and that sells half of my position. And I have Shift S, and that sells half of my position. What I do is I use a marketable limit order. It's not a market order. If you use a market order while you're scalping, you're going to get filled at the top. What I do is I use a 5-cent offset on my hotkeys. And if I try to enter that stock at that $5 range, the max it's going to fill me at is $5.05. Spikes up, and then it comes down. These trades are so fast. That's one of the biggest questions that I get is, okay, well, are you using stop loss? Or you don't have time. You physically do not have time to go in and manually enter your stop loss. I'm a full-time day trader. I'm looking at the chart. So when I hit my hotkeys, that's way faster than that stop loss is going to hit. And that's what I recommend everyone doing. If you're trying to trade the way I trade, you can't use that. You can use bracket orders on the way up or whatever you want to do that way, but hotkeys are what will save your life. And but it's just about that 5 cent offset.
And you have a lot of this documented on your YouTube page, is that right? I mean, I've seen several. You document almost every day that you're trading, and you'll highlight and clip some of these breakouts to teach other people. Do you have your setting your hotkeys and that being recorded so people can take a look at that on your YouTube?
Yeah, I actually recorded the DOS Trader setup that I have, and I posted an educational video on my YouTube about that a few weeks ago because that was the main question, because a lot of people don't have 25,000. They want to know how to do it. And I posted a video about that. And tomorrow, since my account's going to be open and I have access to that, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make more educational videos on the platform base itself, and teach about hotkeys and how I set my platform up.
So Bentley's first day trading of 2022 is going to be live trading for everyone to see, free on Traderverse Discord tomorrow, man. I'm super excited to have you. You mentioned that it's not a big deal to you. You get more pleasure out of seeing your other people win and your members win. But, I'm excited for you to start getting some action, man, to prove to a lot of these haters that your style is something that is definitely worthy to look at and something that I've certainly adopted. So, man, I'm excited to trade with you tomorrow morning for sure in our Discord.
Dude, I'm so excited about it too. And I see Yates is in here now. Yates, I'm coming for vengeance. I'm making more money than you this year. You destroyed it last year. I'm coming for you this year. So be ready.
Shots called. Shots
be
called.
ready.
We have about a couple minutes for a community question. If anyone wants to raise their hand and get some one-on-one with Bentley and ask him some questions that we didn't cover, we've got time for a couple questions if you guys want to come up and ask that personally to him.
Oh, I think that's a fake Yates in here, so never mind.
Dang, man. There's which one? There's like 30 of them, bro.
Oh shit! I think I have like what is it? 3,900 followers. I'm pretty sure 3,000 of those are fake Yates. so shout out.
Give a couple more minutes or a couple of minutes if anyone wants to ask a question. But if not, Bentley, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, 6 a.m. Is that correct? Is that when you start? I can't remember. I have to look
it's
at the
8 CST.
CST, that's right.
So I'll be there at 8 CST, and I'm excited. I'm so excited to bring in the new year. I mean, the new year of trading for me on the Traderverse platform. I'm super pumped about that.
Cool, man. We look forward to having you. I appreciate everyone for jumping on. You can find us tomorrow. Once again, we'll make a post about jumping in our Discord and seeing the man, the legend, Ryan Bentley in action, man. Ryan, hey, listen, I appreciate your time. Thanks for what you do, and look forward to killing it with you tomorrow, man, and the days to come in 2022. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a blast, and I'll see you guys bright and early.
Let's get it, man. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.